Hey guys, today we're going to look at how to tell time on a standard clock. Now, you're probably wondering why you're staring at a circle. Well, obviously, a clock is a circle. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how you can, or at least, let me back up. We're going to look at how a clock is set up. So, first thing is you have 12 pieces. Now, I'm not going to draw all 12 first. Okay, I'm just going to draw 4 of those pieces. Okay, now this is going to be 12, 3, 6, and 9. Now, these are 15-minute intervals. So, to go from 12 over to 3 is 15 minutes. To go from 3 to 6 is another 15 minutes. So if we had to go from 12 all the way around to 6, that wouldn't be 15 minutes, that would be 30 minutes. Okay? So to go from 6 to 9 is another 15, and to go from 9 to 12, that's another 15. To go all the way around the clock, that would be 60 minutes. Okay? Now, you're probably wondering, well, what does all these numbers, like how do you get 12 and how do you get 3, 6, 9, all that stuff? Well, let me show you. What's important to know is that your clock is also split up into a total of 12 pieces. Okay? And if we think about our fraction, we have 60 minutes in an hour. And if we split this up by 12 pieces, that leaves us with, if I did it off to the side, I do 60 divided by 12, I get 5. So that means each one of these little chunks is going to be 5 minutes. So to go from 12 to 1, that's 5 minutes. To go from 1 to 2, that's another 5 minutes. Okay? And to go from 2 to 3, that's another 5 minutes. And remember on our last slide, I said that from 12 to 3 is 15 minutes. So you see where some of these numbers are coming in now? Okay, so let me just clean this up a bit. Okay, and now let's look at some other pieces to the clock. Okay, first thing you have is you have 2 hands in the middle. Now, we're going to only deal with 2 today. There is a third one, that's the second hand, but we're not going to worry about that one so much right now. Okay, so first thing you have is you'll notice you have a small hand. It's like an arrow. And then you have a longer hand. Now, our first hand, the small one, this is for the hour. And the longer one, that's for the minutes. So you read it by looking at the small hand first and looking at where that's pointing. Now, most of the time it's going to end up somewhere in between these 2 numbers. Or these 2 numbers. Or any of the 2 numbers. It's not going to usually point directly at the line or at the number. But when you read that, you're reading it as, like let's say our time right here. I would read this as 12, and then, because I'm at 12, and then I have some minutes. So I look at my minute hand and I'm pointing to the 3. Now, that is not 3 minutes, okay? Because there are 60 minutes in an hour. So if each one of these lines from here to here to here is 5 minutes, then we have 5 times 3 to get 15. So that means our minute hand is at 15, making our clock say 12:15. Here, let's try another one. I'm just gonna clean this up nice and easy. Okay. Also, you know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna go erase this stuff right here because we don't need it right now. Okay, erase. And it is gone. Almost. There we go. That was the longest time to erase something that I've ever had. Well, just kidding. All right, so next time. Literally, our next time. Let's try, ooh, I got a good one. Let's put my dot in the middle. I'm gonna point my arrow hand, my small arrow, right there. And I'm gonna put my big arrow right there at the 6. Okay? Now, if you notice, this arrow, our arrow, is not pointed at the 4. And it is not pointed at the 5. Now, it's not all the way to the 5 yet. So we would say this is 4, because we're not all the way to the 5. And then we have 6 groups of 5 minutes each. So if I have 6 times 5, that is 30 minutes. Now, some people will say this a little differently. Some people won't say 4:30. Sometimes people will say 4:30. Now, here's what they mean. Remember that very first thing I showed you? When we looked at the circle with nothing else on it? And I said, this splits up into 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. If my big hand is right here, that's saying that this big hand is halfway to the top again, to the 12. Okay? Now, we know it's halfway because we're picturing this almost as if we cut this whole thing up. See that? Now, it's a pie graph. You can see here's the first the first fourth. Erase that. This is the first fourth. This is the second fourth, and we know 2/4 is also equal to 1/2. This is your 3/4, and this is 4/4. I don't know why I did it like that. Let's make it look like all the others. Okay. Sometimes when people get to this point right here that I'm going to mark with a star, they will say that instead of saying 45, because this would be a 9 here, so that would be 45. Sometimes what they'll say is that this is a quarter till. And what they mean by a quarter till is that it is 1/4 of an hour to get to the next hour. It's kind of funky, but I think you'll get the hang of it. So let's look at a couple practice questions, okay? I'm going to turn all these off, turn my practice ones on, and we're going to just look at them a couple at a time, okay? So I've got this one here. Let's go back to using green. I like green. Okay, now you can see here's my minute hand or hour hand, and this is my minute hand. It's the much bigger one. Okay, now I look at the clock and I see that the hour hand is just past the 3. Okay, it's not all the way down to the 4 yet. Since it's not all the way down to the 4, this cannot be 4 o'clock. Okay, but this is going to be 3 and something. So we got to figure it out. Now, let's see. Let me erase this. Didn't mean to fully erase. I'll just leave it. So we have, let's see, this is at 12. Oh, there's no numbers there, but I know this is 1. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and after 6 is 7. So this would be 7. Now, remember what I told you? These are increments of 5. So this is 3:35. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Here, now we're not at the 3 this time. Look at that. Not quite at the 3. So we are close, though, to being at the 3. But we're not quite there. So that means we're going to be at 2 o'clock. And we're all the way over at the 9. Now, if I look all the way over to the 9, and I multiply that times 5, 9 times 5, that is 45. So often you'll see it say 2:45, or sometimes you'll see it say quarter, depending on how you want to say it, quarter till 3. Okay? Because we're 1/4 of an hour until we hit 3 o'clock. Okay? Let's look at this next one. Now again, we're almost to the 6, not quite to the 6. I know it looks like it's at the 6, but we're just about there. The easy way to tell is that, hey, this hand, our minute hand, is just about around to the 12, but it's not quite there. Okay, so we are at, on this one, still at this point here, which is 5. And then we have to go all the way around to 11 times 5. Everything is going to be times 5. Okay, so this is going to be 11, that's 11 right there, times 5, and that is going to be 55. Now, could say it another way. If you notice that to go from the 11 to the 12 is only a 5-minute jump. So some people will say this is 5 till or until 5 until 6 o'clock. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm going to leave these questions up on the screen for you. And I would like you to try to answer some of these questions on your own. I would strongly suggest pushing pause right now and come back in about 30 seconds and I'll write the answers on the screen. Okay, welcome back. I hope you went ahead and answered some of these on your own, or at least figured some out on your own. Let's go with our number 4. Number 4 is going to be 12:50, because we're not quite at the 1 yet. Here's going to be 2:55. For number 6, we have, let's see, it's going to be 5:35. 7, we're at 5:50. 8, we're at 3:15. 9, we are at 6:40. 10, we're looking like we're at, well, that's just after 10 o'clock. 10:05. Hopefully that one didn't trick someone. 11, we are at 2:50. 12, we're looking at 4:20. 13, down at the bottom, we are looking at, that's going to be 7. Sorry, I had to think about that one for a second. 40. 8 or 14. I don't know why I said 8. We are looking at, probably because I was thinking 8 o'clock. 10. 15 is 3:45. or quarter till 4. And 16 is at 1, oops, not 105, sorry, 1:55. Okay, now you could say quarter to 2. No, sorry, you couldn't say that. You could say 5 till 2. Now, again, that one probably tricked some of you guys, but remember, if this was going to be 2:55, this would be closer down to that 3. Okay, because the minute hands and the hour hands are always moving on the clock. Okay, hopefully this helps a little bit. There'll be some more practice in Canvas, but make sure you are really paying attention to how to tell time. Thank you. See you later.